The Vorex fleet hung in the void just beyond Earth's detection range. Admiral Krell studied the blue-green planet on the main view screen, his four eyes narrowing to slits. Another primitive world to claim for the collective, he said, mandibles clicking in anticipation. Send the initial scout team. His second in command, Commander Taz, hesitated. Admiral, our research indicates this is classified as a death world. Perhaps we should. Death world, Krell scoffed, his metallic exoskeleton catching the light as he turned. These humans barely leave their atmosphere. Their technology is rudimentary at best. The classification is clearly in error. Taz reluctantly bowed, three arms crossing his chest in deference. As you command, Admiral. 10 warriors of the elite Vorex Infiltration Corps dropped silently through Earth's atmosphere, their stealth pods leaving no heat signature. Their mission was simple: gather intelligence on human military capabilities and identify optimal invasion points. Squad leader Nix led his team to a landing zone in a rural area marked Wyoming human charts. The night was quiet, the land sparsely populated, perfect for their needs. Disperse and observe, Nix ordered through the neural link connecting all Vorex warriors. Remember, these humans are fragile. Their bodies contain no natural armor, their muscles are weak, and they lack enhanced senses. Do not engage unless absolutely necessary. The warriors moved with practiced precision, their adaptive camouflage rendering them nearly invisible as they spread out across the terrain. Warrior Drav headed northwest, following a narrow path that led to a small dwelling. His scanner indicated only one human life form inside, an ideal subject for study. He approached with caution, his claws silently retracting to minimize noise. The dwelling was primitive, wood and synthetic materials, with glass viewports and a simple locking mechanism on the entry point. Drav easily bypassed it and slipped inside, his four eyes adjusting instantly to the darkness. The interior was cluttered with human artifacts, furniture, decorative items, primitive information devices. Drav's attention focused on a door at the far end, behind which his scanner detected the human's biosignature. He moved silently down the hallway, environmental sensors analyzing everything. The atmosphere was breathable but oddly scented. His translator processed written symbols on various objects, building his knowledge of human language with each passing second. Drav paused at the door, preparing his neural recorder to document the sleeping human's physiology. He pushed the door open with a three-fingered hand and stepped inside. The human lay on a raised platform, covered with fabric. Male, middle-aged by human standards, showing no signs of awareness. Drav moved closer to begin his scan. That's when he noticed something else on the bed. A small, four-legged creature lay curled against the human. At first, Drav thought it might be some kind of symbiotic parasite, but his scanner identified it as a separate species, Canis lupus familiaris, according to the database. The creature's eyes suddenly opened, fixing on Drav with startling awareness. It rose to its feet, hair bristling along its spine. Drav froze. His species had evolved as prey on their homeworld before technology had elevated them to apex predators across the galaxy. Something primal stirred in his genetic memory at the sight of those focused eyes and bared teeth. The creature made a sound, a deep, rumbling growl that seemed to vibrate through Drav's exoskeleton. Warning signals flashed across his neural display as ancient instincts screamed danger. Squad leader, Drav transmitted, his neural signature wavering with uncharacteristic fear. I've encountered a... The creature lunged, a blur of muscle and teeth. Drav stumbled backward, colliding with a shelf. Objects crashed to the floor. The human jerked awake. What the Max? What is it, boy? The creature, Max, stood between the human and Drav, its growl intensifying. The human reached for something beside the platform. Suddenly, light flooded the room. Holy shit. The human's eyes widened at the sight of Drav, but instead of displaying fear, his expression hardened. He reached under his platform and pulled out a metal object that Drav's scanner immediately identified as a weapon. I don't know what the hell you are, the human said, voice steady despite his elevated heart rate, but you picked the wrong house. Drav backed toward the exit, his combat systems automatically assessing the threat. The projectile weapon was primitive but effective at this range. The creature continued advancing, muscles tensed for another lunge. Squad leader, requesting immediate extraction. Trav transmitted. The human possesses a guard predator and weapons. Across the region, similar reports flooded in from the other warriors. Warrior Lox encountered a human dwelling with 3 of the predator creatures. Warrior Zeal was cornered by a massive variant with black and tan coloration. Warrior Vin discovered humans training the creatures in complex combat maneuvers in a fenced area. By dawn, the surviving members of the scout team huddled in their extraction zone, waiting for retrieval. Squad leader Nix compiled their findings for Admiral Krell. These humans, Nix reported, his voice still unsteady, they don't just tame predators. They sleep beside them. They form bonds with creatures evolved specifically for hunting. The predators recognize humans as pack leaders and will die protecting them. Back on the Vortex flagship, Admiral Krell stared at the scout team's footage in disbelief. Scenes of humans casually controlling creatures that had reduced his elite warriors to trembling wrecks. These Death Worlders, Commander Taz said quietly, they don't fear predators. They adopt them. They love them. Krell's mandibles clicked nervously. Abort the invasion. Classify Earth as a no-contact zone. He turned away from the screen, unable to watch as a small human offspring embraced one of the fearsome creatures. Any species that keeps apex predators as sleeping companions is too dangerous to engage. The Vorex fleet quietly retreated into deep space, leaving Earth's inhabitants unaware of how their faithful companions had just saved them from alien conquest. Not through force, but through the sheer existential terror of a wagging tail and loving growl.